All right, Article 2, the tax impact.
The tax impact as if the article passes, it is $12.72.
$12.72. Okay.
And if the tax impact does not pass, it's $12.81 for a difference of 9 cents.
Okay.
I know you don't normally have that, but we would on the slide. We talk about the difference. So so it's $2.81.
Okay.
And Article 5, there is no additional tax impact for this article.
I don't have an Article 5.
There was an additional article put on there, and that's the one that Mr. Winslow spoke to about adjusting
Okay.
from 2.5% to being able to retain 5%.
Okay, that's not something that the budget committee needs to address.
Right.
So
Right,
that's why we
um,
wouldn't have it. Okay,
Okay. I'll maybe I did mention it before, so maybe I'll talk a little bit.
yeah, you can talk a little bit about it and let people know that that is going directly to deliberative
Yeah.
for
Sure.
discussion. It's not something that the budget committee.
No, I understand. It's just I wanted to make sure that since we discussed it, it's on there.
Sure, absolutely. And
Ryan,
Yeah.
while we wait, it's Pam Sanderson. I just wanted to say I appreciate, as a novice, a first timer here going through this budget process, representing the board, I find you exemplary as far as how you have conducted going through your budget proposals and information. So you've set a goalpost for me. I'm on a steep learning curve, and I appreciate everybody on the budget board or budget committee having patience and tolerance as I learn. But I see now with your protocol procedure referring over, I'm hampered by my lag time and internet, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to send a shout out that I much appreciate your example and how you've done it. And I also wanted to send a shout out to Betsy. Hey, tremendous kudos there, and massive respect for your diligence and attention to detail. I am clearly in awe and full of respect for that. There's a lot to be said for the people who have been doing this for a long time and have a history and knowledge. It's worth keeping. Yeah, we got to advance and move on and adapt like we are right now. But, you know, amen to those that stay with it and stick with it. And I think that goes for everybody who's participating. So big shout out. Appreciate being here.
Who gets the award for the longest or most years served on the budget committee? Ginger, is that you?
Oh, heck, I don't know. I counted up at one point between school board, selectman rep and budget, somewhere in the vicinity of 28, 29, maybe 30 years. Somewhere in there. I'm not sure about Betsy though.
Wow.
I got you beat because I'm in the early 70s, so.
You don't
Oh,
look that old.
there you go.
So you two can answer this question, that if this Article 3 passes and it is not spent, or there is money left over and it returns to the general fund, that is, goes into the town general fund, correct?
Correct.
And if the board, select board chooses to, they can then use that to pay down the tax rate. So-
Correct.
So in a sense, give people their money back.
Correct.
I'm catching on. So we've been, what, it's been 15 years.
Pam, I want to say thank you for saying kind things about me today. And I also just want to plug that there is an open seat on the school board at the moment. If you're interested, you are allowed to do both, and you can learn.
I don't know.
learning curve. I take it you are a very quick learner from the meetings I've been in with you. I think you're doing just great, but you could learn even faster if you were on two boards at once.
It would be
But
amazing.
I think you would have to stop being the budget
Right.
committee representative.
That would be a tough thing.
Yeah, you couldn't be
Yeah.
budget rep for both.
Or I could
do-
stop being the budget committee representative, and she could be the rep for.
Ah,
Yeah.
so now we have the
No,
reason.
no.
Which is great. It's
As a-
also, if we keep talking, her internet
As
is
a,
lagging.
as
I'm
a high
hearing a yes before she has a chance to say no. So I'll just. Pam, thank you. That was very kind of you to say.
As a high school teacher, as a high school teacher during this COVID experience, I am just in awe of everyone and a newfound respect for school board and for everybody who's involved. Would I want something else on my plate? No. I'm thinking of taking up roller derby next because it seems to be such a passive sport.
Idea.
Hey, let me know when
Okay.
and where so I can watch you.
Yay, Steve.
I don't know. I'm getting too old to fall down.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. But I did. I got to tell you guys, I had the other day, I was teaching an online lesson and I looked out in my yard and there was a guy with a sledgehammer pounding on my telephone pole. And I wondered, so I went out and because he had a utility and I'm like, why are you pounding on my utility pole? And he said, well, this is my job. And I said, this is your job? And yes, I go around and I pound on utility poles. And I said, well, sure am. How do I get the job? Because what they do is they routinely inspect all the poles and they use a sledgehammer to see if it's rotting out or getting soft at the base. So he goes pole to pole to pole to pole, and he's a subcontractor out of New York. For I think Consolidated, and I'm like, "Dang, this is the kind of job I want." I mean, gosh, there's got to be a ton of telephone poles.
Yeah, especially if you get paid by the poll. Okay, looks like we're all back and we're a little later than
Totally.
I had said. So we need to do a roll call to show we are all back from our lunch. So Betsy,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Grace,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Mike Moore,
Yes, sorry. One of the times my space bar didn't go turn my
You
mute
gotta
on.
get that space bar fixed, my
It
friend.
does it like once every 50 times. So
Steve,
Yes.
Betty,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Ted,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes, I'm here.
Bob,
Yes.
Mike Jobin,
Yes.
and yes, I am back. So before we begin, I have to make a correction for the committee as well as Susan. When we took the vote on warrant article 3, I mistook Paul's vote as a yes when it was actually a no, and he called me to let me know about that. So the final vote on warrant article 3 is 13-1. So before I forget that, Betty, did you have your hand up?
Thank you.
Oh, okay. So we can move on to, let's do Article 4,
Great.
and then
I
we'll go
make a
back to the operating.
Make a motion to recommend Article 4, which reads to see if the Northwood School District will vote to raise and appropriate up to $20,000 to be placed in the Special Education Capital Reserve Fund for the purpose of meeting the expenses of educating educationally disabled children for the Northwood School District in accordance with the provisions of RSA 35:1-B, with such amount to be funded from year-end undesignated fund balance surplus available on July 1st, 2021. Current balance at September 30th, 20 is $105,384. The
Well,
school
let's
board
get
recommends.
Brian, hold on. We got to get a second first.
Oh,
Second.
Thanks, Betty. Okay, go ahead, Brian.
I was just going to say,
Sorry.
it goes on, it should say the school board recommends this appropriation by a 4-0 vote, and that there is no additional tax impact.
Terrific. Thank you. Any questions or discussion?
So this is money that would be left over at the end of this school year in June 30th, 2020, July 1st, 2021.
Correct.
And if there's no money left, then
No money left.
there's no money left. Or let's say that there's 17.5 left because it's up to the 20,000, the 17.5 could be utilized. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Any further questions or discussion? Okay, seeing none. Betsy,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Grace,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Mike Moore,
yes,
Steve,
Yes.
Betty,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Ted,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Mike Jobin,
Yes.
and I am a yes. The vote is 14-0. So we can go back to Article 2, which is the proposed operating budget. It's all yours, Brian.
Okay. I make a motion to approve Article 2, which reads, shall the Northwood School District raise and appropriate as an operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant articles and other appropriations voted separately, the amount set forth on the budget posted with the warrant or as amended by vote of the first session for the purposes set forth therein, totaling $12,038,000 $937.
Mm-mm.
Is that the wrong number?
Yeah,
That's
that's,
the wrong
that's
number.
the old number.
I'm sorry about that, guys.
That's okay.
Get
I
the
can
right
fill
number.
it in for you. $12,052,674.
Say that one more time, please.
12,052,674.
Thank you.
Okay, I apologize, guys.
That's okay. It's what I had originally too.
Okay, so I will pick up.
Wait a minute. Whoa,
Yes, Betsy?
can't deduct the revenue from what you're voting on. It has to be the full number. So it needs to be the 12,116,261.
I didn't think so. Nate? You're muted. Oh, there you go.
That is correct. You have to show the full what you're appropriating while the budget shows the differences so that we can explain the percentage. It is the full amount that you have to raise and appropriate, then you offset it with the revenue and that goes back. So Mr. Waring has also said that. What I can do, if it's easier, just to make sure everyone sees the exact same numbers, is I do have a copy of the warrant articles on my computer. If it's easier, I can share that for Mr. Winslow to read it as it's written. That would move forward. That's totally up to the budget committee, but
Yeah.
I do have that warrant copy.
That sounds good, Nate. Let's do that.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share this now. Please ignore the highlights as this has been the rendition of changes, but just trying to keep track of everything we're doing as we highlight. But this will, obviously the highlights will be removed when we're ready to finalize and go to DRA. So you should be seeing that now, I believe. Are you seeing it?
Yes, we are.
Thank you, Nate. I appreciate that very much. And I'm just going to start my motion again. So
Yes.
I make a motion to approve Article 2, which reads, shall the Northwood School District raise and appropriate as an operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant articles and other appropriations voted separately, the amount set forth on the budget posted with a warrant or as amended by vote of the first session for the purposes set forth therein, totaling $116,261. Should this article be defeated, the default budget shall total $12,176,648, which is the same as last year with certain adjustments required by previous actions of the Northwood School District or by law, or the governing body may hold one special meeting in accordance with RSA 40:13, Roman numeral 10 and Roman numeral 16 to take up the issue of a revised operating budget only. The school board recommends this appropriation by a 4-0 vote. The tax impact of this article, if passes, would be $12.72. The tax impact of this article does not pass is $12.81.
Thank you, Brian. We have the motion. Do we have a second?
Sure, second.
Thank you, Ted. Okay. Any questions or discussion?
Am I correct in seeing that the proposed budget is less than the default budget?
You are correct.
That'll help this pass.
Hopefully.
Any further questions or discussion? Betsy?
Just a comment on my last correction, that shows up as revenue in the revenue statement. The 63,500.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion?
If I may speak again,
Yes, Tom.
it occurred to me, particularly when I looked at warrant article 3, that talks about the upcoming fiscal year. And then I look, there's no mention as to what that fiscal year is. And it's, for those of us who are in the know, it's 2021-22, right?
Correct.
But then I look through the rest of the document to sort of see what fiscal year we're talking about. And I couldn't find another reference to that. So I would ask Brian to think about adding, for example, in Article 2 as an operating budget for fiscal year 2021-22 to there in Article 2, and then again in Article 3. So people who are not as sophisticated as the budget committee realize that we're really talking about the future.
Right.
Just a thought.
I appreciate it. I'm taking a note. I'll bring it back to the board.
Okay, any further comments or questions, discussion? Okay, seeing none. Betsy,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Grace,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Mike Moore,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Betty,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Ted,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Mike Jobin,
Yes.
and yes. So Article 2 is a final vote of 14-0. Now, a couple of points for the school board. Hang on, I'm gonna get back into my thing. Okay, a couple of requests for the school. If you could send the revised budget that shows all the corrections that we've made, if you could send that electronically to Linda, then she will be able to send it out to us. As yet, we still do not have, oops, sorry. We got a notice from MUR. We have not yet seen the default budget. We don't vote on the default budget, but it is something that I have to include in reviewing during our public hearing. So I would request the school to mail out the default budget to all of us, along with a clean copy of the warrant articles that show those amounts. Because the copy of the warrant articles that we have, the amounts are different. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we will take care of doing that.
Okay, terrific. And if you could send the proposed budget that we just voted on to Linda at your earliest opportunity, because Susan's going to need some of those figures to do up the minutes.
Yep.
Terrific. Thank you. Betsy?
So besides electronically, because some of us don't have the paper to print this off, can we request those be mailed as well, please?
Yes, yes, we'll mail them in US postal mail and send them electronically.
Okay, and if anybody, a thought might be if a blast email can be sent out to all of us, letting us know whenever they're ready for those of us who can come and pick them up. I won't be delivering them, but if we can come and pick them up, it could save some time and postage.
Yes.
Terrific. So at this point, unless I'm forgetting something, I believe we're all set with the school.
Ginger,
Yes, Betsy.
just request the backups for the SAU budget and the preschool as well, please.
Well, we don't vote on those. I mean, we don't have any say in how then those numbers came up. We've not
I
gotten those in
understand
the
that.
past.
We've always gotten those.
Okay, I don't recall getting those in the past, but I will work with the SAU to get something sent out.
Ginger, do you want us to include, is that what you're asking? You want us to include the SAU and preschool budgets in what we send out for Northwood?
Well, those are enormous packages.
Ginger, that is something that has always been sent in the past.
We've
And-
had, I just
Should-
never recalled getting explanations for the SAU and preschool budget lines.
Always
Well,
gotten them.
We always have. We've gotten the,
okay. My
budget,
mistake.
the
My
proposed,
mistake.
right, the budget itself. I don't know about explanations, but we've received the breakdown of the budget.
Correct, which we have gotten, and there were a couple of minor changes to that. But as far as explanations, I don't recall that we've ever received an explanation on a particular line as an example of how come this went up or how come this went down. Primarily because we as a budget committee don't have any say in
You have a-
determining that amount,
You have a say in every single line in the budget.
but not, we can't go into the SAU budget and say, no, we don't want this amount. That's
Sure
always
you-
been my
Sure you
understanding.
can. This is something that keeps coming up year after year. It doesn't matter that it's a contracted amount. The budget committee can still recommend a number for that section regardless.
Okay,
If the budget committee voted a different number, then it would be up to the school boards to go back and renegotiate if they felt that they weren't getting the funding they needed. But it's up to the budget committee to recommend an amount for each section in the budget.
right.
Not to say that you want to make a different number, but I'm just saying the idea that you can't because it's a contract is not correct.
Okay. Thank you, Linda. That's why I count on you.
We pay her
With that said, could I also just say that maybe if it was agreeable to Ms. Colburn, maybe emailing that other backup might be a solution as to printing all of that for every single member.
Betsy?
There are two things. There's a lot of changes with the SAU going from 3 towns to 2 towns. There's a lot of changes in that budget. I, for one, would like a printed copy, please.
I'll just say also, they are obviously they're public documents. I think anyone in the community can request a copy at any point. So that there's no objection to that request. I think maybe what Ms. Stoll is concerned about is just like the feasibility of sending them out through the mail to every member here who might not all need to see them, but.
I was just primarily thinking about how large the envelope must be to put 11 by 17 sheets folded up with 3 different budgets. That's all. Just trying to
Ginger,
save some money.
may I suggest that those who want printed copies, email me and then I'll send the list to Brian of those who do want a printed copy?
Excellent idea. Thank you, Linda. Everybody heard that, right?
And just to make sure that the rest of us would get a
Yes.
electronic copy?
Yes, Everybody will get an electronic copy. If you want a printed copy, please send an email to Linda and she can prepare the list for the SAU staff. Betsy?
If you, Linda, can add to that list and ask who would pick them up versus mailing them.
Okay, sure.
Also, if while we're discussing this, we did hold a public hearing also on December 10th on these two budgets, and they were broadcast through the live stream, and I believe they would be archived on the school district website. So if anybody wants to see that discussion and see those numbers there, it should be available. So
Terrific. Betty?
I'm not sure who's going to believe this, but I do not need a printed copy.
So noted, Betty. Thank you. Okay, any further questions? I think we're all set with the school.
could I just share two things? There is
Absolutely.
there is the fifth warrant article. It doesn't need to come before the budget committee, but it is loosely related to budgets. I alluded to it before. It came to us through the legislature on should we increase the I always get the name wrong, the retained fund balance amount from 2.5% to 5%. Should we have the ability to do that? And obviously the school board votes on how much to hold over every year anyways, but right now it's capped at 2.5%. There's been a legal change allowing schools that go through the towns that approve the school board to do it, to move it up to 5%. So when you will see that, it's just a procedural thing. Also, there will be on the March ballot, there will be 3 school board seats, 2 for 3 years and then 1 for 2 years. So just wanted to make sure everybody knew that.
So you want us to start thinking about that now, right?
Sure. If anybody, I would share, if anybody is interested in running on the school board, I'm happy to talk with people about it. And I'm sure people in this, committee have a pretty good idea, but if anybody's watching, then be happy to share my experiences with people if I could help them make a decision. So.
Right. Thank you, Brian. Betsy?
While they're still here,
Hi, Dave.
should we state when the public hearing is?
Sure. Let me just double check the date. It's either the 4th or the 6th. It's that Thursday. but-
Our public hearing.
Oh,
Okay, so Linda and I have been
Yeah.
trying to figure out our best bets. I've received the dates and the parameters from the state. And of course, as usual, we have a pretty strict timeline. The 12th of January is the last date for any petitioned warrant articles pertaining to money to be delivered to the appropriate party, whether it be school or town. So trying to figure out when we were going to have the meeting and whether or not we could do the public hearing for the town warrant, the schools warrant, and the 3 districts all in one night. We've run into a couple of things. Originally I was thinking about Tuesday, January 12th. Could meet if we got any petitioned articles. But Tuesday, the 12th is a typical Board of Selectmen meeting. Thursday, the 14th is a planning board meeting. So that leaves us with.
You're off on your dates.
Not
You're
according
on
to my
2020.
calendar.
What?
January 12th to 2020 is a Tuesday. So next year it'd be
Right.
you get
No, I'm looking at the 2021 calendar.
really?
Yep.
It is the same.
It is the same. Oh, okay. Interesting. I'm sorry.
I knew there was something wrong with this year.
Yeah. So bottom line, the 12th and the 14th are out as primary nights because of Board of Selectmen
Oh, shit.
and Planning Board. So at this point, I'm looking at January 13th, which is a Wednesday, beginning at 6:30 to A, handle any petitioned or new articles that come in at the very last minute. And B, we have to meet to finalize the 2 warrant articles for the town that we were waiting for end of year figures for. Those expendable trusts and the lagoon article. So we start at 6:30. We can get those done. Public hearing would start at 7. And we'll go and hopefully we can get it all done. And if not, we'll have to recess to another date. Has to be, we can be no later than the 19th, because on the 21st, the budget committee, AKA Linda and I, have to turn over the approved budgets and warrants to the school and the town, as well as the 3 districts. So 1 extra day doesn't leave a whole lot of time to get everything done. Betsy?
So in the past, we've used Thursday night, the 14th, and planning board has moved. While I like the idea of doing it all in one night, I think that's probably unrealistic, to be honest with you.
Well, we pretty much come to the conclusion that we're going to start on the 13th, and if we have to continue, we'll, in the meantime, I'll talk with the planning board chair, and
There's already
postings to deal
there's
with.
already cases scheduled for
there are
that night.
cases
But
scheduled. Okay.
Susan can start both meetings, and maybe she needs to jump in here, but I mean, I have to be on planning board. I don't know where Betty would be, but she would be the one affected. And if it, certainly you have enough members. If you're missing one, that it should be fine. If
Well-
you have to go to the second night.
We'd be starting with the town and the school, and I feel pretty confident that we can get both of them done in one night. It's simply a matter of doing the 3 districts, perhaps another night if need be.
If it's
Betsy?
of any help, none of the school districts are SB2, so they don't have the constraint of meeting in
Well, the
February.
school typically has school board meetings on Wednesday nights, so that's why we've usually done them on Thursdays.
No, we meet on Thursdays. School board meets on Thursday.
I'm talking about the other 2 towns. So it'd either be Stratford or Nottingham.
All right, I'm going to jump in for a second. Bob, I'm sorry, I missed your comment.
I was going to say that as far as the 3 village districts are concerned, they are not SB2,
Correct.
so they don't have to worry about a February deadline. So if worse came to worse, you could hold off on taking a public hearing on those, should we run into trouble.
Okay, we can talk about that between now and then. So I can find out what deadline dates each of the 3 districts have.
Yeah, Nottingham is also SB2. Their deadlines are almost identical to yours
Right,
that we've been doing.
right. I would hope that
Hmm.
one of the 3 SAU individuals, you could split, for instance, if Nottingham or Stratford had their budget public hearing, which would only be Nottingham, right?
Right.
Right.
Stratford's timeline is a little bit later than
Yeah,
Nottingham.
because
And
they're not
we
SB2.
can tag team it for y'all.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be happy to do that.
Okay, so, Betty,
So we are talking about the 13th.
correct,
Okay,
beginning at 6:30.
yep. I just didn't want to have to scratch it out again.
Okay, are we good? Betsy?
Are you posting a backup, or how are you handling that if we don't get done?
Well, you can recess to continue to a day and time certain.
seeing as how, unless we have a big storm that affects power or internet, we should have no problem in having a quorum on January 13th.
Meteor shower.
If it, if it appears as though that may be a possibility, I'll get together with Linda to figure out what we need to do legally to, I know in years past when we still had town or school district meeting, those of us involved had to show up so we could open and recess the meeting to, as Linda said, a date and time certain. It's electronics. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. At this
But
point,
I think, I think Betsy raises a good point, though, because with COVID, if there's people that would want to attend a meeting and can't, then you can't conduct business. So maybe the answer would be to set a second, just in case date. I know people may cringe at this, but maybe 9 a.m. that Saturday morning. As a default, should everything else be an issue, then you'd have a second date posted that you could fall back on.
yeah, since it appears to be necessary, I guess we would need to do that.
Pick a
So
backup night instead of a Saturday.
we have a choice of Friday night or Monday night, Betsy.
Do Thursday and do 2 meetings at once.
We're not doing Thursday. We're doing Wednesday.
I would
We always
prefer
have, so that's a
not to
change.
spread out.
That's a
between
change, yes.
meetings.
I'm sorry, who else is speaking?
It's Susan. I know I'm not,
No, go for it,
important,
girl.
but I would prefer to not miss a planning board meeting
Right.
or a budget meeting because they're the 2 meetings that I really need to be at. So,
Which is why I'm looking at Wednesday and not Thursday.
yeah, I know, but I understand what you're saying. So,
Okay, so at this point, it looks like Wednesday, January 13th at 6:30. And if we are unable to meet electronically because of weather situations, loss of internet, loss of power, we will go to Saturday, January 16th, beginning at 9 a.m. And you can start feeling bad for me now because that's my anniversary. So
I'm feeling bad for you right now.
I appreciate it, Tom. I knew I could count on you.
I'm there. Can I ask one other thing since I'm unmuted, and that is, could you look ahead, and Linda also please, to what other dates lay ahead in terms of town business, including signing up to run for the school board and the 2 deliberative sessions and the actual voting day.
Okay, so sign up is January 20th to January 29th.
I could send an email, Ginger. if
Oh,
that would help.
perfect. That's even better.
And just
Will that
tell me.
suffice, Tom?
No, just tell me. That's one. What's the school deliberation is Thursday, the 4th.
And the town set it for Saturday, January 30th, but I do not recall their snow date.
Well, it's not going to snow. And then the election is March 8th, 9th,
Second Tuesday, correct?
March 9th.
March 9th.
Thank you.
Anything else regarding dates before we can let the school board staff and SAU staff go on their merry way.
Did you freeze?
I would like to thank our SAU staff and, I'm sorry?
Sorry, my internet slowed down for a second.
Okay.
My bad.
Just want to thank Jocelyn, Nate, Monica, and Glenn for spending time with us today. Shane, you as well.
Thank you.
Brian kind of stuck with us for a little bit longer.
Yep.
You guys have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Okay, we need to move on to our 3 districts. Bob, can we start with you?
That'd be great.
Okay, Water District, everybody.
All right, you should have 2 sheets that came as PDFs. The back, you'll see there is the anticipated revenues. I have put the warrant articles at the bottom of that page, and the actual operating budget is on the first page. Just a couple of quick comments. The district does not hold taxes. We are self-funded from either water bills, which is we refer to as water rents, and from the cell tower, which provides us a fee for utilizing the tower on our land. And typically, we get probably about 15,000 in water bills paid. Few people don't pay, and then there's a carryover from year to year as the winter bills go into the next year. So, and then the tower rent increases pretty regularly. The DRA uses both of those as our revenue source. And so that's pretty much it on revenue for the coming year. In terms of the operating budget, we can go through the numbers specifically. The only major change has been an increase in water services, and that is because we're going to be replacing the roof on the pump house. We just completed an asset management plan for the entire district, and it was pretty eye-opening. A 30-year-old system begins to wear out. And we actually were informed by the engineers, certainly not that it's something I have to worry about, but in 2030, we may have to replace all of the water lines. So we're going to have to look at setting money aside for that sort of future endeavor. But it's not my problem.
And you look very pleased about that.
So when you're ready, I mean, I can go line by line.
I'm trying to find mine for some reason. I can't find it. Keep up my hands on it.
Yes.
Can you share this on your screen?
Actually, hold on a second. I might be able to.
Maybe just hold it up like this. and
read it.
And talk about it. That's good.
If you'd give me 2 seconds, Tom, because what happens is I've got 3 different computers running, and if I get them to talk to each other, we'll be fine. Let's see.
All right. Well, take your time. And those of us who have no idea where our paper copies are, I'll look at my email while you're doing that.
Okay.
Where the heck did I put that?
I got mine via email. I just went through all my
Everybody
papers.
got them via email.
Yeah, I'm just saving you some time, Steve, because I just did the exact same thing. I went through every piece of paper.
All right. When was the email sent?
Grace, what date was that?
Let's see. It was pretty recently. It was the email came, all 3 districts were in one email on the 10th.
Great.
Came from Linda, right?
Thank you very much. That's very helpful. I'm like driving myself crazy. Am I losing my marbles?
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Thursday, the 10th, district budgets.
Hold on. I get 16,000 emails here. Hold on. I can't delete them fast enough. The heck is it? Jesus.
Got it.
Okay, Bob's got the
Perfect.
screen share going, so that'll save you, Stephen.
I'm almost there. Hold on. Okay. From Linda, right? Proposed budget 2021? No.
Correct.
Which one are you looking for?
This
From
would be the
Water district.
Hold on. Time out. Bear with me. I'm sorry, folks. That's not it. What the heck?
Well, you'll be able to find it after. In the meantime, Bob has it
All
up
right.
on the screen for us.
Okay, cool.
Okay, my first line item would be executive for 1,000. It had some extra money in there in case we had to do an audit, but we have our own village auditor, and so at least temporarily we can limp along with 1,000 in there.
I found it. All right, cool. Water district. Bam. Gotcha.
Do you want to take a vote on each one of these? Or?
No, we're just gonna do, if you want to review what's in, what comprises your budget, then if there are any questions, we can ask them and just vote on your articles.
Basically, okay, and then the finance administration, you can see we broke that out a little bit closer. We're looking about $800 in there. Most of the expenses are in postage and fees, because we end up having to send out 2 bills a year, and the federal government requires us to send out a consumer confidence report. And then there is a third item that goes out talking about the upcoming changes to the district. We have a website, but it's not actively used by anybody, so we're still stuck with postage. Legal expenses, we're keeping $1 in there. Hopefully we won't have to use that. Insurance, we are currently insured for property and buildings, but we've received a strong warning from Primex that we probably should get workman's comp, even though the only employees we have are basically volunteer commissioners and treasurer. So we're putting $2,000 in that, even though we spend about $900 a year. Water services, we're going up to $21,350. There we have a very long road. In fact, we just had to bring in an excavator because that last ice storm dropped a tremendous number of trees down onto the road. And rather than coming in with a chainsaw, we just went through with an excavator and broke these trees, and we'll clean them up in the spring. Road repairs, that's basically for gravel and some ditching. System repairs, we have 4,500 in there. This will be to add some changes inside the pump house to give us some better monitoring capabilities. Like at this point, we have no way of knowing how much water is going out of the pump house, just how much is going into our storage tanks. So if we have a leak, we really don't know that. And just not that the board really is concerned about this, but we found out that after 30 years at a property up on the ridge, there had been a leak in the system on the side of their building that we had been told by folks who were neighbors there that was a spring and it's always been there. And when we dug it up, found it was a fairly good sized hole in the delivery pipe, and it has almost dropped our electric bill by half. So, you know, the repairs come in when you least expect them, but that has been good news for us. Additional parts of the service include lab fees. You'll notice a substantial increase because now we need to do PFAS testing in addition to the chemical monitoring and the bacteriologic testing. Those we actually have under the licensed operator fee because it's hard to separate them out in the billing scheme. Our electrical, we're hoping will go down, but we level funded. Our fuels and fees, we have a propane tank out there, and that propane tank we fill once a year, and that's pretty much what it costs us. We put 1,000 in the contingency because we still aren't sure what is going to be the cost of that repair on the roof. I know that Jim McKay and myself as commissioners will probably be up there spreading the membrane and putting down the crushed stone ourselves. So that should save us a little bit, but we don't know quite what that's going to be. So that gives us a total operating budget of about 25,151, and that would probably be what the district would be voting on.
Okay. So let's see, the first warrant article that I see on the first page, Bob, is,
Well, we have two, so the first warrant article, if I go down there, that would be that operating budget for the 25,151, and most likely be Article 2 on our warrant.
okay. So do you want to make a motion?
I will make a motion that the district be allowed to, okay, let me read it. To see if the district will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of 25,151 for general district expenses.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
I'm just gonna pick somebody. How about Tom? Because I saw him. I couldn't see anybody else. Okay, do we have any questions regarding that proposed operating budget? Okay, seeing none. Betsy? Betsy, you there?
I said yes.
Oh, I couldn't hear you.
Sorry.
Tom?
Yes.
Grace? Yep, you're muted.
Yeah, my space bar's not working either. It's a yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Mike Moore?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Ted? Can't tell if Ted's there or not. I'll come back to Ted. Pam?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Mike Jobin?
Yes.
Okay, go back. Ted, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. And yes, vote is 14-0 to recommend. Bob, you want to do the second one we see?
Yes, I will. To see if the district will raise and appropriate the sum of $1,000 to be added to the previously established Water District Expendable Trust Fund for major repairs. Just a caveat, this will come out of water rents.
Okay. Don't jump at once. Do we have a second?
Second, I'll second it.
Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome.
Any questions or discussion? No, I'm not hearing anything. So Betsy?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Grace?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Mike Moore?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Ted?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
I gotcha.
It was my space bar.
Brian?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Mike Jobin?
Yes.
And yes. So that is a 14-0.
The last two, I'm afraid we're going to have to hold off until we have the public hearing. In the past, what we would do is we would estimate what our tower rents would be and then put them respectively into the capital reserve and expendable trust funds. We ran into some trouble 2 years ago when we did not have sufficient funds to do that. DRA suggested that we do like the town, and then do it out of unexpended funds from the prior year. So
Mhm.
that's where we're stuck with. We will have those numbers on December 31st.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Are we set? I'll shut off my screen.
Thank you.
Okay, so that means we are now done with the water district. So we can move forward to Mike, are you ready?
I am ready.
This would be the Northwood Cove Village District.
So I am here to propose our operating budget for 2021. And I'll go through the lines if everyone would like, but our total budget is going to be $9,350. And does everyone have the spreadsheet?
Yes.
Okay, great. So on the general government, our budget is the same as last year, $449. However, on line 4199, there's a $200 figure in there. It should be 300. I apologize. But the bottom line, 449, is correct.
Oh, so it's just a typo on that
Yes,
line.
my bad. I apologize.
Oh, 20 lashes.
Ah. And also for the highway and streets, under our road damage and maintenance, we've increased that by $100. The snow and ice contract services remain the same. And the snow and ice sanding, we've increased it by 200 because this year we had a few extra ice storms than normal. And we anticipate that for 2021. So we've made that increase. And as far as the debit services, those remain the same at the tax anticipated note interest, $1. Well, it's just one line item.
Mhm.
So the total budget again is $9,350.
Okay, and that relates to your Article 2 on your warrant.
And Ginger, if you could read that for me, you do much better job.
I will read that for you, Mike.
Thank you.
To see if the Northwood Cove Village District will vote to raise and appropriate the Northwood Budget Committee's recommended budget amount of $9,350 for general operations. This article does not include special or individual articles addressed. Majority vote is required. Commissioners recommended 2-0.
Yeah. Oh,
Tax impact, God bless,
that's a dog.
is 68 cents per $1,000 of valuation, and a reminder that this affects only those properties that are in the Northwood Cove Village District. So I need a motion.
So moved.
Someone's outside. I don't know who it is.
Second,
Thank you, Pam. Are there any questions regarding Article 2? Okay, seeing none. Betsy,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Grace,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Mike Moore,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Betty,
Yes.
Paul,
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Ted,
Yes.
Pam.
yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Mike Jobin.
Do I vote on this or? am I-
Yeah, you vote on it. You're not getting a salary, so you got to
Yes.
vote.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
And yes for me, so 14-0. Would you like me to read the next ones, Mike, or?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Article 3 is the Road Maintenance Expendable Trust. To see if the Northwood Cove Village District will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $2,000 to be added to the Road Maintenance Expendable Trust Fund previously established. Majority vote required. Commissioners recommend 2-0. Estimated tax impact would be 14 cents per thousand of assessed valuation. I need a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Grace.
Second.
Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome.
Do we have any questions or discussion on Article 3? Seeing none. Betsy,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Grace,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Mike Moore,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Betty,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Ted,
Yes.
Pam,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Mike Jobin,
Yes.
and I'm a yes, so we are 14-0. Article number 4 is the unassigned fund balance. To see if the Northwood Cove Village District will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $2,000 to be added to the Road Maintenance Expendable Trust Fund previously established. This sum is to come from the 2020 unassigned fund balance. No amount is to be raised from taxation. Majority vote is required. Commissioners recommend 2-0. Who wants to make the motion?
So moved.
Thanks, Betty.
And second.
Grace, thank you. Any discussion, questions? Okay, seeing none. Betsy,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Grace,
Yes.
Mike Moore, excuse me, Dan.
Yes.
Now Mike Moore.
Yes.
Sorry about that. My eyes are crossing. Steve,
Yes.
Betty,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Ted,
Yes.
Pam.
Yes.
Okay, Brian,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Mike Jobin,
Yes.
and I am a yes, so we have 14-0. Now, as far as the Gulf Village District, Eric was not able to be here today. He did send us the warrant, and he sent me an email asking if we went ahead, which I've checked with Linda, and we can discuss this and go ahead and vote on it. I can offer you this additional information that I'll read to you. The budget is identical to what was passed at the 2020 annual meeting. Residents actually raised what was recommended by commissioners and budget committee at that meeting, so those will be the same numbers we recommend for 2021. We returned about 5,600 to the residents that will help offset this December's tax impact from unencumbered funds. This year, we have done culvert work, grading and filling, plus plowing and sanding through winter weather. While these three things will be a major focus of 2021, we additionally want to replace all speed limit signs and build a sign at the entrance to Lynn Grove Road. This sign would be similar to something you would see at a boat launch or trailhead, a place where we can post information about the village, upcoming meetings, and general info about the community. Would be made out of wood with a small roof and a place to hang documents protected by the elements. So page 2 of the handout that you received shows the breakdown of their operating budget. Which is, see, the total would be 17,600. Okay. If I can get a motion for Article 2, or would you like me to read the article? I probably should read the article and then somebody can motion it for me. It reads as follows: to see if the Gulf Village District will vote to raise and appropriate the Northwood Budget Committee's recommended budget amount of $17,600 for general operations. This article does not include special or individual articles addressed. Majority vote required. Commissioners recommend 2-0. Estimated tax impact, $1.02 per $1,000 of valuation. And I remind everyone, this pertains to those properties that are contained in the Gulf Village District. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Betty.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Bill.
Thanks, Steve.
Second.
Okay, and are there any questions about anything that you've received in the mail or the additional description that Eric sent? Okay, seeing none. Betsy?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes, and I think you need to add to their article the fact that we are voting for it.
And I will return that information to Eric when he gets back. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Grace?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Mike
Yes.
Moore? Yeah. Steve?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Ted?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Bob? You're muted, my friend.
Yes.
Thank you. Mike Jobin?
Yes.
And I am a yes, so the vote is 14-0. And the Gulf Village final article is Article number 3. To see if the Gulf Village District will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $3,300 to be added to the Gulf Village Road Maintenance Expendable Trust Fund previously established. Majority vote required. Commissioners recommend 2-0. Estimated tax impact is 21 cents per thousand of assessed valuation. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Madam Chair.
I'll
Second.
Okay, so that was you, Steve, right?
No, it wasn't me.
Mike Gilman.
Ted.
Oh, Mike.
I'll give
Well,
it to.
you guys gotta stop sounding like each other, you know? Just really. And I think Grace, you were second?
I was.
Thank you. Any further discussion on their article number 3? Seeing and hearing nothing, do a roll call. Betsy?
Yes.
Thank you. Tom?
Yes.
Grace?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Mike Moore?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Ted?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Thank you. Brian?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Mike Jobin?
A village district, yes.
And I am a yes as well. So it appears that concludes our program for today. Unless someone else has questions, concerns. Final reminder, our next meeting will be a month from now on January 13th, 2021, beginning at 6:30. If we are all set, I appreciate everybody's help, cooperation. I don't want to do Zoom next year, guys. So
But
say
thank you,
prayers COVID disappears, okay?
thank you, Ginger, for steering us through all this. You've done a marvelous job, and I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any further discussion?
Just one.
Betty?
So this means we don't have to meet next week?
Correct.
Yay!
We are done with our preliminary work. We are done. So Monday and Wednesday next week will be canceled.
Cool.
Bless you.
I try hard, but it wasn't me, it was all of us. We got through.
Yay.
Okay, we need to do a roll call to adjourn.
Yay.
Betsy,
Yes.
Tom,
Everyone.
Yes.
Grace,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Mike Moore,
C.
Steve, Steve,
Yes.
Betty,
Yes, please.
Paul, Ted,
Yes.
Pam,
Positively.
Brian,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Eric.
Eric's not here.
Oh, shoot. He's next in my line. Mike Jobin.
Like Eric, yes.
Excuse me. And I'm a yes.